specialize in music most people hate. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out our Facebook page, Instagram, and our website. Let us share the noise with you.
Yo, this is John from Noise Dosage Media, and this episode is brought to you by UKR Patcher, located out of Ukraine. They specialize in providing metalheads and bands with custom woven or embroidered patches, back patches, hats, buttons, and t-shirts. I'll put a link in the description. Great quality, highly recommended. So how old are you and Liam?
I'm 15. I'll be 16 next month.
And I'm 11, and I'll be 12 in July.
So how is Steelface Circus's practice structured now versus the very beginning?
Well, practice structure is not too terribly different, actually.
Oh, yes, it is, dude.
Fair enough. A little bit.
I wasn't even in the band when it started.
Well, originally, this project was kind of a branch off of another project that had already happened, and had kind of, broken apart. And it was like, me and Jerry, the original guitarist, it was like, hey, we want to do something that's not this, so let's just do our own thing. And he wrote some song, he wrote Twisted Wounds, he wrote most of the riffs for that, and just brought them to me, and I was like, I like this. This is what I want to do. And then we started playing through it, and then we were like, hey, Liam, do you want to try out on vocals? And he was like, sure. And it was like, immediately from there, we knew what we wanted to do with this. But it was, and that was where it was like, we knew we wanted to do something more with this. And then through the following months, we wrote a bunch of stuff with Jerry. And then in February, I broke my finger.
Dude, I did the same thing.
It was my left pinky. And
no, I broke my whole hand though last year. Like in a dirt bike accident. I ruined every part of my hand.
Yay.
But yeah, I couldn't play guitar for like 3 months.
Oh, I could play guitar with 2 fingers.
Hey, it depends on what you're playing.
Fair enough. But the thing was, it was February 2018, and I broke my finger, and we had some shows scheduled for the next month. We had 2 shows, our second and third show, and I was like, well, what am I going to do now? We have shows scheduled. I like to stick to commitments. Like, even if I am kind of hesitant about it, I'm like, no, I committed to this, and I'm going to do it. So what I did was I called my buddy Kendall Pariah Dival, who produced our EP, by the way. Go check him out on Facebook. Check out his band Necronomichrist. Really great.
Oh boy, that sounds good already.
Oh yeah, it's great stuff. As we're actually recording this, he's live on Facebook right now doing a stream. But basically, I called him and I was like, "Hey, do you want to fill in on drums for the show?" And I grabbed my bass.
There it is.
And I learned the songs in such a way that I could play them with 2 fingers. Because what it was my pinky and my ring finger were buddy taped together. It was on my left hand. So I had to learn to stretch out my, index finger and my middle finger enough to actually play stuff. But
for sure.
Basically I just played bass for a show. And then I had just gotten the clear to play drums right before the next show that we had, which was the 30th or the 31st, I don't remember. But we played that. And the thing is, the second show was when Liam really got into his groove, and
I really kicked it up.
It went from him standing there facing off to the left at 40, a 45-degree angle to the crowd of the wall.
The opposite way.
Him being watch the video for I'm Broken by Pantera. It's literally that. Phil is he's exactly what Phil's doing.
Hey, I was the same way, man. We all do it. I'm still when I play shows, you want to know what I do?
What do you do?
This is a trick, man. Chew on some gum and wet your hair before you play a set.
Huh? What does that do?
So if you have ADHD, gum helps you take your mind off stuff. I don't know. But no, every venue we play in Rochester is super hot. So yeah.
That would
So I
help.
drench myself in water. So
Yeah, one would imagine that would help quite a bit.
yeah. So favorite video games.
We don't
TV
play
show.
games. I haven't played games in
What?
7 years.
Really?
But
He has.
But
he just hasn't.
I haven't like
system.
played regularly in 7 years, and neither has Liam. But I do watch YouTube Let's Players, and my favorite game right now is the new Animal Crossing. Oh my god, it's so amazing!
Hell yeah.
And Doom Eternal's a close second. The soundtrack for that.
Liam, you're telling me you don't play any video games?
Nope,
Nothing.
I don't play games. I haven't played games regularly, like I said, in 7 years. And it's this month that I've been a drummer for 7 years. It's the reason I'm a drummer at all. It's the reason I'm a musician at all is because I put down, the PS3 at the time.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
I always like to ask people that. So, what actually got you into playing drums?
Well,
and do you currently play? Do you currently take drum lessons?
I don't take drum lessons. I haven't taken them for several years. Although I did just get picked to do a drum lesson with Dirk Verburen, Megadeth's drummer, who was in Soilwork as well. I don't know if he's still in there. I haven't looked into that much.
Right.
But I'm going to do that sometime next week with him. But I haven't taken a drum lesson, like, genuinely since, like, 2013 or early 2014. It's been a long time. But I don't actually take lessons. It's mostly self-taught. Basically, it was a year of lessons, and I got, like, jump-started, and I just... otherwise, I'm self-taught. And the reason, like, I was able to get into playing drums was because my dad used to buy a bunch of musical gear on, like, Craigslist and stuff for really cheap, and you'd just flip it. And he had a Mapex V Series kit. It was a Jazz Fusion configuration. It was the toms were tiny. It was 8 by I don't know what the depths were, but it was 8, 10 rack toms, and then 12, 14 floors with an 18-inch kick and a 12-inch snare.
Dude, that memory.
Yeah, I don't even know what. See, I'm not a drummer, so
yeah. Like most guys now play like a 12 rack tom and a 16 floor. Like a 12 was my first, was the smallest floor tom I had.
You got a big thonker, dude.
Jeez. So, Liam, what's your favorite sport? Like, what?
I don't really play sports. I haven't played them since I was 6 or 7. But when I did, it was basketball.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've always really liked it.
So, do you guys go? I know when I went to school, I'd go to music class and I'd be like the outcast kid that listened to the music that nobody likes. What do your friends think when you show them your music?
Well, we do online school at home, so there's none of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I have friends, but generally they actually like my music, surprisingly, since like the heaviest stuff they listen to is Imagine Dragons. No, but I asked them for their real opinion. I'm like, I don't care if you say you don't like it. Just what do you think? And they're like, yeah, it's good.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And we're still in school, by the way, because of that, which is nice. Because now we don't have to deal with, like, worrying about the discussion of, oh, are they going to repeat whatever grade we're in?
Yeah, exactly.
Are we going to have to repeat that next year? No, we don't have to deal with that. We're still in school, so it's great.
I was going to ask if there was anything that you guys are doing during this, because, like, yeah, the whole world's going to crap, I guess.
Oh, in the town we live in, our elementary school sent kids home, or sent in the mail, a 147-page document of what kids are expected to do during all this. And think about this. It was just sent this week, and no other like work was done by them. And supposedly schools are supposed to open on May 4th. April vacations, not this coming week, but the week after. So they only have like a week of work to do, and they sent a 147-page document to the parents on what their child is expected to do.
Yeah, no, one of my best friends when I was growing up, he was taught at home, like homeschooled, and I thought it was like the coolest thing because like I'd always ask him, I'd be like, so like what'd you do today? He's like, I got homeschooled for like a couple hours and like the rest of the day I just practiced.
That's a lot of what it is, because you're getting rid of a lot of the stuff that's like, oh, we're gonna
Gym.
The thing is with regular school, there's a lot of like busy work, because it's like, oh, we're gonna take 2 hours to do this thing, and if you're done in 45 minutes, then here's a bunch of sheets of other stuff for you to do in this next hour and 15 minutes. That's not trivial at all. Doesn't affect your grade at all. It's just a thing to keep to keep you busy. Keep
It's
you doing
like
stuff.
fluff. It's like fluff.
Yeah, it's just extra stuff to
Filler.
keep you going. And then plus there's also, waiting in lines and stuff. That takes up like a total of, multiple hours of time.
For sure.
And the other thing is, for students that are advanced or behind, they don't really get the exact education that they need. Usually schools teach to the middle, and the kids that are a little slower with that sort of thing fall behind, and the more advanced kids are like just bored by the end of it. Is the other thing. And that's what I like about what I'm doing right now. We're doing Connections Academy, which is basically it's the best thing that we could find that was available. And the thing is with it, it's like you have a calendar of your work for the day to do, and it's just as soon as it's like as quick as you can get it done, and then you're done. And you have like some live classes. Oh, excuse me. Like a couple live classes a day. Sometimes I only have one. Most days, Liam's got a couple every day. But it's so much more useful, and it's
structured.
It's not as structured actually as the thing, and I personally think it's better that way, because it's going to be helpful with college. You're on your own. College, you have to learn to have your own work ethic. This teaches you that initiative. It gives you that initiative before you hit college, and you're basically just like procrastinating everything and not doing anything. That's the thing about a lot of people that go into college and get a business degree but don't do very well and end up working at McDonald's after they graduate.
No, I totally agree with you, man.
Which is
that gives a lot of definitely puts a lot more on you being younger, and that's good, because like I live on my own, and I wish I would have had that pressure, because I'm like just learning things myself that I would never have thought like I would have had to do.
Yeah.
So, Liam, where did you learn how to do vocals?
I didn't.
You just did it.
Yep. One day I was yelling at Riley, and it came out, and, and he was like, "That was really cool.
Do that again." Hey, Liam, do you want to be in my new band with Jerry?
So who is Jerry? Is he your friend, or
Jerry was a mutual friend of like my dad and one of his buddies,
Gotcha.
who was like, "Hey, why don't we?" He like came over and jammed. He sent me some tracks in very late 2016, and he was just like, "Just make some parts to these," and I did. And he showed up, and he was like, "Hold on, I like this. I'll be back. I'm gonna go get my Marshall at my practice space." So we went to his practice space, and we grabbed his Marshall 412, and I don't remember what head he had exactly, but he brought all that over, and he was like, "Okay, now that I can see that you're serious about this, we can maybe talk about doing something." And
Yeah.
that was the original project that we were in called 1,000 Archers, which was like it was a long time ago now, but and then that grew into an actual project. There are some falling outs between certain members, but we played a bunch of shows during the summer of 2017. We had no vocalist; it was all instrumental. It was like, think about like if Tool had breakdowns and it was less progressive.
Yeah.
That was the kind of idea of it.
No, I think, to be honest with you, the vocals and the drums really stand out to me in that band. I mean, like, guitar-wise, I love it, but I'm just saying, like, because you listen to Gojira and stuff, that really shows. And vocally, don't even get me into it. Like, it's great. So.
Yeah, guitar-wise, the thing is, Jerry was, he was a really sufficient guitarist, but the thing is, it was just things weren't working. We're on good terms with him now. We're friends with him still. Right. And our current guitarist is now Alex Govin, who actually tried out for bass for us at one point.
Yep.
But didn't get the job because he was just like, whatever, I'll do this thing. And he didn't really put a whole lot of, effort into it. And he was like, yeah, whatever, I didn't put a whole lot into it. If I don't get it, I don't get it, whatever. And he didn't, but then we were looking for a guitarist a couple months later, and he was like, I'll do it. I was like, okay. So he tried out, and it was like, it seemed right. And the thing is, where he wanted to go with it is exactly where we wanted to go with it. We wanted to go to a different direction. Obviously, you'll hear what I'm saying when the next EP comes out, whenever. That's not planned at all. We don't have much written because we haven't, actually had a practice in about 3 months.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
I liked his playing style a lot, and I have another project with him that some stuff may be seen from that soon. I don't know yet, but stay tuned for that.
Hell yeah.
That's one of the things I'm really pumped about. But yeah, Alex is exactly where we wanted to go with it. We would have had him on the podcast, but he lives about 20 minutes away from us, 25 minutes away from us. And we didn't want to, we're like completely quarantined. We haven't really left the house at all. Only like out of absolute necessity.
Yeah. Tomorrow I'm like, dang, do I really want to go get some food, or do I want to like scrounge up some stuff? I mean, I've got, food that'll last me, but it's like, it's not really what I want to eat. But
yeah.
So primarily, Liam, what do you enjoy most about writing lyrics, and what's like your message?
For each song, I just have a random message. I start with one line, and whatever I see from that line, I continue off of.
And I pitch in with the vocals as well. I write all the vocals with him.
For sure.
And basically the idea is we'll just think of a hook, and then rather than like just throwing together random lines, we think of an actual concept based on said hook that could actually grow into a song, rather than just being random vocals that is like, oh, this line sounds cool. Oh, this line sounds cool. It's like, for example, we'll just think of one line or like 2 lines or whatever that we have in advance. And it's like, okay, what kind of thing does this inspire? What could go with this? That's not just random, but actually is a concept of some sort.
For sure. So what was your first reaction waking up to like your self-titled EP to be on Spotify, iTunes, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, we had actually, it was really, eye-opening for me personally. It was really cool to do that. Shout out to DistroKid, who's one of the coolest companies ever.
$20.
Oh my God, it's the best. And we had planned that in advance, and it was like, okay, when the record drops on May 1st, it's going to be everywhere. And the thing is, that's really the only way to do it. Because if you only have physical copies, there's a lot of people that don't do physical copies these days for certain reasons. I like physical copies, but there's also, I have a lot of friends that are internationally based, we'll say.
Yeah.
So shipping to, the UK,
it's expensive.
Like,
it's super expensive. It's like, here, take this like $10 CD, but I'm gonna have to charge you $25 in shipping.
Oh, it's even more than that because customs.
Yeah. I remember, where was it? I remember shipping something to Netherlands like a year ago, and I think it was around $20. But it was like a small package. It was like a CD and a shirt.
I play Axis pedals, but I personally, nothing against Axis, but I personally am not a fan of their drive shaft. Just personal preference. So what I did was I ended up ordering a drive shaft from ACD Unlimited I think they're in Austria. And it was like $190 for the shaft. Or no, it was 190 euros, so it was like a little over $200. And then shipping was like $60 because it's a piece of, aluminum and steel. Yep. It was a heavy piece of metal. And he shipped it over. It was like $50 or so, which is still not bad, but it's like, God, I hate doing that,
Yeah, for sure.
Although shipping, over here isn't too much better. I just ordered a matching rack tom for one of the kits I have. Comes in tomorrow, by the way. Oh yeah, I'm excited for that. But I ordered it, and it's coming from California. And luckily, the guy was like, "Okay, $200 shipped." And I was like, "Oh, I thought it would just be $200 plus shipping." Shipping would have been $50.
Yeah.
And it's not a huge rack tom. It's a 10-inch. Like, that's not that much.
For sure.
But it's FedEx, and they'll ship.
Dude. I hate FedEx.
I hate working with them, but they're reliable. If I don't have to pay for it, I will take FedEx.
I'm going to give you a tip. If you ever do anything shipping in the future, go to the post office.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've done that before.
The shipping is like half price.
Oh, it is. It's so much cheaper. The thing is with USPS, though, I got screwed over by them recently, and I hate them now. So basically, I got a buddy up in New Hampshire, and he made some custom like triggers that are based off of On Trigger, which is a trigger that goes right on your pedal, and it's triggered when you actually hit the pedal, and the footboard hits the top of the trigger. So whenever the footboard hits it, it actually is triggered. So there's no mistriggering, and he makes his like own play on them, and it's like this crazy like hacked way of doing it, but they're awesome. And it costs him like $8 to make them, or like $12 to make them or something. And I ordered them. Well, I didn't order them. He was like, "Here, I'm going to send these to you for free." And he was like, "Oh," and he was like, "I'm going to ship these through USPS. I'm not going to bother with a tracking number because you live less than an hour away from me, so it should be there in a couple days." It never showed up. And because he never got a tracking number, it's probably sitting at the post office in my town right now. But I can't get it because there's no tracking number.
Yep. I always pay the extra couple bucks because, like, especially when I'm doing stuff on eBay.
Oh yeah.
I do that for sure.
And the thing is, he was like, "Yeah, I usually do that, but you live like 45 minutes away from me. I didn't think I would need a tracking number," which normally you wouldn't.
Yeah,
I like UPS the best. They're a little more expensive than USPS, but they're basically the same price. But they're a little more reliable.
Yep,
and they get it done quicker.
For sure.
Yeah.
So here's a question for Liam. He's going to get a kick out of this one.
Mm-hmm.
Liam, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
You've been given an elephant. You can't get rid of it. What would you do with it?
What kind of question is this?
Dude, I got random questions.
I would.
I'd go Joe Exotic and have an elephant retreat.
Yep.
How about
Instead of meth and tigers, I have pizza and elephants.
Liam, what would you do with it, man?
How about a dog?
Dogs aren't as like crazy.
That's not an elephant, though.
I'm talking an elephant. You've been given an elephant. You can't get rid of it. What do you do with
Is
it?
it a baby or an adult?
Adult, like full size elephant.
I could keep it.
Well, you can't get rid of it, is what it is.
Right. You can't get rid of it. So what are you going to do? You can put it in the backyard?
I don't.
Is breakfast an option?
See, now you're thinking out of the box. You're thinking out of the box.
There you go.
You can make that's the answer. Liam says eat it. That's a pretty metal answer.